Hello, everybody. Welcome to the cafe, guys. I am super duper excited because I get to hang out with Toni Shiloh on today, guys. This is her latest release, Winning His Trust. I don't know if you guys can see that. And she is hanging out with us today at the cafe to talk about it on today. Of course, you know how we do it here on the cafe. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend, tell everybody to come on down to the cafe because we're hanging out with author Toni Shiloh on tonight. And of course, Toni, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to the people on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always fun talking with you. I'm Toni Shiloh. I'm a Christian contemporary romance author. I have, I think, about 25 plus books published. And I think this is book 27, Winning His
Okay.
Trust. And it's set in my fictional world of Willow Springs, Arkansas, which is fun because I get to make everything up about it.
I love that. I love that. And they are coming on in. Myra Cook hanging out with us on today. Of course, we got Mama Toni of Mama Toni's Book Nook and Reviews hanging out with us on today as well. Veronica Lockett hanging out with us on tonight as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate that as well. Toni, I am super duper excited about Winning His Trust. You know I love a good book cover. So of course, when I saw the book cover and you did the cover release and all that stuff, I was like, oh my goodness. So let's talk about this cover, my friend. Oh my goodness. Kate, what can you tell us about it?
It's great. I like the way Harlequin does the covers. They always ask us our opinions on um, scene ideas for the covers, and then they ask, what do you think what do your characters look like, and we can upload all of that, and then they craft it based on all of our suggestions. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, they're by the river. Like, I was so in love. They have the fishing poles. They have River, who is just adorable in the book, in my opinion. I think I'm probably
Yes.
totally biased, but
Look,
they
and
just
I
have
love
all the
that.
factors.
And we'll definitely talk about that a little bit in here too, about what you enjoy about writing kids characters or children in your books as well. But before we get into that, I also love titles. Now, spill a little tea for us. Winning His Trust. Was that the original working title, my friend, or that title kind of evolved around, around the story? Tell us about that title, Winning His Trust.
Sure, it definitely was not the working title. I'm actually trying to remember what was the I think it was like the Single Dad's Adventure is what I
Oh,
originally called it.
wow. Okay. The single dad's adventure winning his trust. Well, they definitely cut the words down.
Yeah, but that's another thing. They also ask us their opinion, like what are the themes, what's going on in the book. And so they'll ask us to come up with alternate titles as well. And that's the one that won, Winning His Trust. And it fits because it's closely related to her Christmas redemption, which is only 3 words. So I guess I get a little carried away with all the words I was using.
I love that. I love that. Now, Toni, if you had to think about your writing style, the type of books that you write or what have you, if you had to come up with a tagline, you may already have one, a tagline for Toni Shiloh's books, what would your tagline be?
That's a great question. I actually do have a tagline. I say my books are
Okay.
soulfully romantic. So you got a little bit of soul, the faith, the spiritual arc that our characters go through, and then you have the romance because I'm definitely all about the romance.
I like that. Soulfully romantic. There you have it, guys. Toni Shiloh books are soulfully romantic. I love that. I love that. Hey, author Sharon Blunt, thank you for joining us on today. Thank you, Myra Rose, for joining us on this evening as well. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with author Toni Shiloh. Guys, this is her latest release, Winning His Trust. And she's sharing a little bit about her latest release and spilling a little bit of tea as well. Like and share, tell a friend, the cafe, and hang out with us on today. And of course, if you guys have a question for Toni Shiloh, put it in the comment section. We'll be sure to include you guys as well. Now, we talked a little bit about this amazing cover. We talked about the title in this story as well. Now, Toni, share something with us. Spill some more tea. In your writing and in winning his trust, what came first? Was it the characters or the plot?
Oh, definitely the characters.
Okay.
So I had actually all of the Wood siblings in mind. So I knew their names. And then I kind of thought about, well, like, what's their personality? And then I thought about, okay, what's the perfect foil for them? Like, what are their hero or heroine look like? So when it came to
Uh-huh.
Jordan and Declan, I was like, Jordan's definitely extroverted. She's sassy. And so I really wanted to pair her with someone who is quiet and more thoughtful and introverted, to kind of get her to slow down, but also someone she can kind of pull along in certain areas as well. So their personalities came to me before I even thought about like what shenanigans I wanted to throw them into.
Oh wow. I love that. I love that. Now let's start with Jordan a little bit since you was talking about her. If you had to describe her in 5 words or more, because you may need more, how would you describe her to us?
All right, let me see if I can use some different ones since I already described her a little bit. um,
Okay.
Adventurous, not, well, that's going to be more than 5 words. Not afraid of hard work.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
hyphenate that and make that just one word?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
She's also loyal and fiercely protective.
Nice. Okay. Now you know we can't leave Declan out. So what would you say about Declan's character?
Oh my gosh. I love Declan. Declan is a thinker. Um, he is definitely loyal,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
definitely kind and stern when he has to be, and maybe a little bit as a defense mechanism as
Oh,
well.
okay. I love that. I love that. Now, going back to earlier, we were talking about the having children in books or what have you. What do you enjoy about bringing little ones or children or young adults? What do you enjoy about bringing them to the story?
Oh my gosh, I have so much fun when I write little kids into the story. Usually, my first thought is what trouble can they cause to embarrass the parents, or to just make the reader laugh. Those are like my two thought process. So with River, I think I did both. Had him
Okay.
embarrass Declan a few times, but at the same time have us all laughing because if you've been around kids at any point in time, you know they will say what's on their mind, no filter whatsoever.
And that's one thing too, even with River's character and other books that may have younger individuals in there, it also brings a realness to the story too, because like you said, yes, that whole kids say the darndest things, or they don't have a filter, or they say what they're really literally thinking, all
Yes.
of that stuff as well. And it really brings, it really just brings and adds to the story. And of course, most of the time, they steal the show without stealing the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That you fall
perfectly.
in love with them, so that's super cool that you had a lot of fun with writing his character as well. Let's see, Anna had a question. She wanted to know, let's see, will you ever be creating new stories for the Faith and Fortune?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Um, I don't know. I would love to visit that world. I really love those characters. But I'm not sure if I could bring in new characters or do a little spin-off with the existing characters, or I don't know, just create something entirely different. So I don't know. Sorry.
That's okay. That was a good answer as well. Hello, Louise. Thank you so much for joining us on today as well. Now, Toni, thinking about the characters, we'll kind of go back into them a little bit. You told us a little bit about Jordan. We talked about Declan. We talked about Little River, all of that good stuff. But when you think about the characters in Winning His Trust, and it could be characters that we already talked about, it could be some characters that we haven't talked about or what have you. Which character or characters, because it could be more than one, that was the most fun or interesting for you to write? Now, two parts here. And then which character, and there may be or may not be, was the most, not necessarily difficult to write, but at times they may have given you pause where you kind of have to sit with that character. And I know it's a two-part question.
No, those are great questions. Okay. Let's see. Fun and interesting. I would say fun and interesting is probably Jordan.
Okay.
I didn't really have to work hard a lot of the times. She's sassy, so she had a lot of stuff to say. And then on the other hand, Declan was kind of like pulling teeth. Like, what are you thinking? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Even though I'm more introverted, I found myself still like feeling like he was the difficult person to crack.
Gotcha. Now, Toni, are you more of a plotter or a pantser? What's your writing flow like? Like, are you at the computer and you are just allowing, the juices to flow and the characters to talk, or is outline planned out? Share a little bit of your process with us.
Of course, I'm definitely the pantser. Like, I don't want to plot. It gives me highs. If I know how it's going to end, I don't want to write the story. Like, what's the point? But sitting down and just letting the characters kind of take over, like, that is definitely my thing. It's my happy spot. I can just write just that way.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, are there times, and I'm assuming too, with you being a pantser, are there times where you may be thinking one way and then the characters just take a whole nother turn? You're like, oh, I didn't really see that coming.
Oh, definitely. You're like, wait, even though, like I said, even though I like the characters to take over, I still, in my mind, have a general idea. I'm like, oh, I think this is what's going to happen. And then I'll start typing and I'm like, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And then sometimes if it's such a veer left or right, I'm like, wait, did I do that? Like, is that really my mindset, or did I really let the characters take over? It sounds completely weird, but just how my brain works.
Wow. Look, and Myra has a cool question. Myra will know, do you listen to music as you write? Like,
I do. I create a playlist for each story, and I have that just playing on repeat as I write.
Now, Toni, you already know I love a good playlist. Oh my goodness. Now, do you put your playlist on Spotify or in your reader group for the readers to listen to? What do you, outside of listening to that playlist while you're writing, what else do you do with that playlist? And can you tell us a couple of songs that may be on this playlist for Winning His Trust, if you remember?
Sure. So I usually I'll share occasionally, like, oh, hey, this is the song from my playlist. They are all on Spotify, so you can definitely find them there. And then for this particular playlist for Winning His Trust, I had a lot of fun. I have Trouble by Iggy Azalea and Jennifer Hudson on there.
Okay.
I've got John Legend's You Move, I Move song on there. And
wow.
I even have Kanye Brown and her singing Blessed and Free. So just an idea of what's on there.
I love that, guys. She just gave us a couple of songs from the playlist of Winning His Trust. As she stated that you could go on Spotify, you can listen to the playlist as well. I love that. And staying with playlists, Toni, how does that come about? Like when you are, starting to work on it, do you have songs in your head that you just kind of like jot them down, or, you kind of put them together? Or even as you're writing, do you sometimes add more songs to the playlist?
Yeah, so usually before I start is when I pick the songs. I usually pick songs based on theme. Like I knew um, that Declan and Jordan were going to be a little opposites, a little a little bit of enemies to more, and so I picked some songs that speak to that theme. Um, I
Okay.
also had songs that were set in Arkansas, songs about
Oh,
fishing, being a single parent, those things. And then sometimes when I'm writing, I'm like, I feel like I need a different song for a certain scene, and I'll just go and hunt for it and play that until the scene's over.
I love that. And I was actually thinking the other day, Tony. I said, you know what? I don't even listen to music the same anymore. It's like I can be listening to a song and like, especially if I'm in the middle of reading a book, I'm like, oh, that's so and so song. Like I'll give, especially the main character, the hero, the heroine, I'll give them their. I'm like, oh, that's their theme song, and it's
That's
hilarious.
awesome.
And sometimes I just laugh at myself. I'm like, really, Angela, you are listening to music, but you are adding songs to playlists to books.
I love that.
Oh my goodness, guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with author Toni Shiloh. Guys, this is her latest book, Winning His Trust. And of course, we would definitely be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of Winning His Trust. And Toni is in a little bit, she's going to read a short snippet for us. But Toni, before you read your snippet, what did you enjoy about writing this story?
Sorry, say that one more time.
What did you enjoy about writing Winning His Trust?
I think it was the banter between Jordan and Declan. Like, even though Declan's quiet, there are times when he just says something and he says it in such an understated way that I would just like kind of laugh as I'm writing and then like look around and be glad that no one is watching me write and laugh at myself.
Look, and we love a good banter. We love that good back and forth. Okay.
Right?
I love that. I love that. Guys, if you're just joining us, Winning His Trust, this is Toni Shallow's latest release. She's getting ready to read a short snippet. I'll let her set it up for us as she share Winning His Trust. And we are ready when you are, Toni.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I decided to just kind of go midway of the book. Um, Declan and Jordan have decided to go fishing. So, since you haven't read the book, most likely, Declan thinks that Jordan's a novice. And Jordan has, you know, not, she's basically said the opposite. Like, no, she's not a novice at all. She knows how to fish, she can outfish him. So, this is the start of the scene. Okay. Okay, so Jordan had fished before. In her book, that meant she wasn't a novice. However, she definitely was no expert. Last night, she'd had a conversation with Mike, asking him for help on recalling all the tips Pop had given them on fishing trips. Mike had remembered a little more than she, so now Jordan came prepared to impress Declan. Not that she needed to impress him, she only wanted to see that look of surprise on his face when he realized how much he'd underestimated her. Sure, keep telling yourself that. She absolutely did not care if Declan thought her capable. Did not. So she stood in the river, waders on and pole in hand. The trickling sound of the water attempted to soothe her mind, but the angst rolling off Declan had Jordan searching for something to say. Plus, it gave her time to ignore the surprising call she'd received from her old roommate. Anything to forget about that. Focusing on Declan and River's current predicament was a better use of her time. How could she help Declan through his separation from River? Just the thought of his ex showing up out of the blue, demanding River go along with her, burned Jordan up. Yes, there were probably lawful visitation rights in the mix, but you didn't make yourself scarce for 4 years while your child grew up not knowing you and then expect to be welcomed with open arms. Something seemed off in the scenario, but Jordan would keep that thought to herself. Jordan's pole jerked and she gasped, Declan, I got a bite. Her voice came out breathy with excitement and just a little higher than normal. Reel it in then. He smirked, his eyes practically screaming, I double dog dare you. Jordan lifted her chin. I will. She shifted her gaze, recalling Pop's calm words. Keep a steady hold, don't panic, or the fish will win. I'm steady, Pop, she murmured. Though her breath came in spurts, her hands worked in an orderly fashion to reel in her prize. Her eyes widened as the fish broke the surface, wriggling around. Jordan squealed, barely containing her excitement. She'd actually caught a fish. It'd been years since she'd been fishing, and this was her first time standing in the river to accomplish that feat. So that's the snippet.
I love it. Okay, Toni, I was like smiling the whole time. Guys, oh my goodness, you just heard a snippet of Winning His Trust. And of course, we would definitely be sharing with you of how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing read with this amazing cute cover as well. And Toni, I just love, like I said, I just love the cover. I mean, you have a picture of them. They're at the river, they're fishing, all of that good stuff as well. Now, we have to play a round of this or that, my friend, but I promise you, there is no right or wrong answer. It is all things according to Toni, and they are giving you love in the comment section for that snippet. Myra Cooks,
Thanks, guys.
Veronica, she's saying thank you for sharing that snippet as well. And remember, guys, if you have a quick question for Toni Shiloh, put it in the comment section. We'll be sure to include you as well. Okay, Toni, so are you ready for this or that?
Yes, bring it on.
Okay, let's get started here. All right, plane ride or trip?
Road trip.
Okay, beach or mountains?
Ooh, definitely take me to the beaches, please.
Okay, audiobook or podcast?
I'm going to say podcast because I don't think I've actually listened to an audiobook yet.
Okay. Okay, Toni, I'm just going to tell you. Audiobooks, it's a whole nother level, girl. It's a whole Toni. Oh my.
I know. I'm just not a listener. I prefer to read. I feel like listening is too slow, and then my brain starts thinking of other things, and I'm like, oh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. I mean, because I don't listen to podcasts all that often either, but I have listened to them. So that's why I picked that one.
Let me just say, when you do read listen to an audiobook, let me know. I'm
Okay.
just, and the thing about, maybe listen to it in the car or something, while you're doing other things.
Right.
And it's just a whole nother experience. It's just, but of course, I love my print. My print copies, my ebook copies, what have you. But when I discovered, I was like, oh my goodness. But anyway, okay. So let's see. We did that one. Text message or phone call?
Oh, text message, definitely.
Okay. Glass half full or glass half empty?
But isn't it all the way full? Half water, half air?
Hey. Hey, I mean, it's all things according to Toni Shiloh. There you have it. Okay. Now, Toni, we got to throw a trope in there. All right.
Okay.
Friends to lovers or enemies to lovers?
Enemies to lovers, definitely.
Okay. I love it. And of course, Toni, here at the cafe. Okay. Is Toni Shiloh team tea or is Toni Shiloh team coffee? Where we at?
Team tea, definitely.
Team T, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Toni, thank you so much for playing this or that with us. It's always a pleasure to hear the authors and their take on things and stuff like that too. So it's always fun. Now,
Yes.
Of course, guys, you know that Toni Shiloh, she does have a giveaway. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, Toni, are there any writing quirks or any writing must-haves that Toni Shiloh need in her life when she is in her writing cave and in her writing zone? Let's spill the
Great question. So I must have my playlist.
Okay.
I must have, what else must I have? A notebook, because I'm usually going to write in it for some reason. And I have to have Pinterest open because I'm a visual person, so it helps me a lot with description. So like my characters houses, all of that. I have it on a Pinterest board somewhere, so I've got that up as well. And then quirks is probably if I'm describing a facial feature I can't figure out, I make the facial expression and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I can type in.
That's super cool. I love it. See, guys, y'all be getting a little tea. I love it. Toni, that is like super cool. So you kind of have like your acting going on. You got the visuals going on. It sounds like a pretty setup. Sounds like you got a cup of tea somewhere near as well.
Definitely, yes.
I love that. Now, are there any snacks or pretty much no food while you're writing? Do you have any like writing snacks or whatever?
That's a great question. I usually don't need a snack until like the afternoon where you're beating the tiredness. So then I'll do something crunchy, whether it's my guilty pleasure is probably Cheetos or dark chocolate with sea salt.
Oh, okay. Toni, go ahead with it. What you know about the Cheetos? Like the original Cheetos? Like the cheese
Yes,
doodle Cheetos?
yes, yes.
I probably am telling my age talking about the cheese dude. You remember? And matter of fact, I got on the colors, the yellow and blue bag cheese. Okay, no.
So,
Tony,
my
you
kids
already
think
know
I'm
I know
so
about the
weird.
snacks. You know, I'm like the queen of snacks, right? Queen of junk food. I love that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, Toni, in addition to that, you share with us some of your writing quirks and things of that nature. But when Toni Shiloh, well, before I ask you that question, let me ask you this one. What
Okay.
does a typical Toni Shiloh writing day look like? We're just trying to get the tea.
Okay. So it probably starts with me. It starts once my kids leave the house for school. Then it's quiet. I'm not distracted. Someone's not asking me for food, snacks, where they lost, whatever. So once they close the door, usually I start with just basics, like I do the email, I'll do some marketing. Um, Earlier today, I changed some covers on older books, like just little things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And then once I decide I've done enough of that, I'm like, okay, I'll switch over it. So either I'll switch over to a first draft that I'm writing, just the enjoyment. That's my favorite part of the story is the first draft because I get to know the characters. I don't know where the story
Yeah.
is going. Um, or sometimes I have edits to do. That's my least favorite because you can read your story over and over and over and over and over again during edits. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is still funny. And other times it's like, please don't make me read it again. So I'm actually going two things right now. I've got edits for one book that's coming out in September and a first draft that's due in May. So I've done both today.
Oh, wow. Super cool that you kind of got, like you have like something new and fresh that you're working
Right.
on, and then you have something that you're kind of cleaning up to get ready to, to be released. That's super cool that you're able to do that. Now for
The
you,
playlist helps.
some oh, go ahead.
I said the playlist helps. Got to keep my
Oh,
turn on the playlist. Oh, that's what I'm working on right now. Switch it to the other one. Okay.
wow. Okay. Now, Toni, has it ever happened to you where you're in the middle, like in the middle of writing something and a whole nother story will come and you're like, not right now, like not right now. Is that where the notepad come in handy, or it just,
Yes, my mind is always thinking of other stories. It's frustrating and it's fun at the same time. It's fun because you're like, ooh, this is a great idea. And then you have to write it down because you can't do it right now. And then it's frustrating because you have to write it down and you can't do it right now.
wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. We definitely appreciate that as well. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Toni Shiloh, guys. We are talking latest release on Trust, and we will definitely be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy. But before we do that, Toni Shiloh has and I'm her to share what's going to be on tonight.
Sorry, I think it broke up a little bit. You said the giveaway, right?
Okay. Yes. If you can share with us what the giveaway tonight is going to be.
Sure. The giveaway is going to be paperback copy of Her Christmas Redemption and Winning His Trust. They're both set in the same fictional town, and you both get to meet a wood sibling in each book. So that's the giveaway.
I love that. I love that. Guys, so you get a little short book bundle of both books. I love that. And Toni, what I'm going to do is go up and down the comment section. You're my friend is going to tell me when to stop, and that person will be the winner of those books.
Awesome.
All right, see, I am ready when you are.
I feel like we need like some game show music in the background.
That's the theme music, yes.
Stop.
Okay, let's see. Veronica Lockett, you are the winner. She said, thanks for sharing the snippet of these two amazing books by Toni Shiloh. If you will inbox me your information, I'll be sure to get that over to Toni Shiloh so we can get that out to you. Thank you so much as well. And Toni, okay, I know they're waiting. They're on the edge of the seats. You just gave us a nice snippet or what have you. How can they get their hands on a copy of Winning His Trust?
Great question. So since it's a March release by Love Inspired, it's out at Walmart right now in the bookshelves. Barnes & Noble sometimes will carry it as well. If not, Barnes & Noble is happy to order it from you. Of course, you can get it from a whole host of other places where your favorite ebook retailer is. And all those links would be on my website at tonishiloh.com/winning his trust.
I love that. There you have it, guys. You can get it from your local Walmart store if they're carrying it. Some Barnes and Nobles may have it. Of course, Amazon. It is available, as Toni said, it's available in ebook, and it's also available in print. And of course, you can also go to her website as well. So definitely tell everybody. And guys, if you see it out in the wild, feel free to take a picture, tag Toni, post it as well. If you have a copy, definitely make sure that you leave a review. I know that Toni Shiloh will be so appreciative of all the reviews that you guys leave as well. Now, Toni, my friend, the time goes by so fast, but please share with us, how can we stay connected with you?
Of course, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website. I'm at tonishiloh.com, so it's really easy to find it. The newsletter link is on there, as well as all my social media. I like to hang out on Facebook and Instagram primarily, and maybe Twitter as well.
I love that. I love that. There you have it, guys. Definitely follow her on social media. Go to her website, sign up for her newsletter as well. And Toni, also, you have a Facebook group. Can you tell them a little bit about your Facebook group? Gosh, she has like guest authors on there, and she's sharing her books, but I'll let her share you.
Yes. So my Facebook group right now, like she said, I have guest authors come out throughout the year. They just had some in February, celebrating Love Month and sharing about their books that are all about romance. We'll probably have them again in the middle of the summer, and then again during Christmas season. But we also have a reading book challenge. So this year we have a prompt, and each month you pick a book based on the prompt. So right now, this month's prompt is to read a book that is women's fiction. So it's great just to talk about different books that are out there in the world, because you never know them all, and someone can always recommend your next great read.
I love that. Look, and Tiff's of Tiff Happy Place, she said, join Toni's group. I love that. I love that. Thank you, Tiffany, for putting in that plug. Guys, it is an amazing reader group as well. So definitely join that. I second what Tiffany said too. And Toni, before we go, you said something that I definitely want to touch on. Of course, it is March and it's Women's History Month, and the theme for 2023 is celebrating women who tell our stories. What does that mean to you, that theme for Women's History Month this year of 2023?
Oh, that's a great one. Just basically the stories that never get told. Just because women have always been marginalized, whether it's just, I mean, there's so many great stories out there, and we never get to see us as the lead. Either we've been a sidekick or a background person, and seeing people like Piper Higley, Vanessa Riley, like Vanessa Miller, all these
Mhm.
women tell these
Yeah.
amazing stories. It's uplifting is the only word I can think of to read all of the different stories. See someone who looks like you, or who
Mhm.
doesn't look like you, and you can still walk a mile in their shoes and learn something. It's great.
I love that. I love that. Guys, there you have it. That's the show on today. Toni Shiloh, it has been amazing hanging out with you and talking about your latest release, Winning His Trust. Guys, go out and get this amazing story. Like we said, is available in ebook. It's also available in print. It is available where books are sold. We will definitely be putting in the comment section the link of where you can get this amazing book as well. And like I said, don't forget to leave a review. And Toni, before we go, I want to allow you to have the last words, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it. If you guys have loved what you heard, like she said, go ahead and get your copy. If you are audiobook fans, my book, In Search of a Prince audiobook, is on sale right now for $5.99. So you can grab that and listen.
I love that. I love that. Guys, in addition to that book and any of her other books, of course, you can go to her website. You can see her backlist. You can get any of those as well. Toni, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, our audience, for stopping by the cafe and listening to us as we talked about winning his trust. If you are watching us from Facebook, thank you so much. Thank you for sending stars. For those who sent stars, if you would like to send stars, look down in the comment section. There is a shooting star. Send as many stars as you like. And of course, I'm always appreciative. If you're watching us via YouTube, thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to Angela Anderson's YouTube channel. I'll be so appreciative of that as well. Make sure you're following Toni Shiloh. Make sure you go get you a copy of Winning His Trust as well. And guys, that is our show today. And as we always say, have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Go get Winning His Trust. Bye-bye.